Hey, y'all. So I'm back to talk about what you have probably heard talked about 5 million times by now. It is Sunday night when Potomac is on, and here I am getting ready to talk about Salt Lake City. I've been meaning to talk about this since Wednesday, but we're not going to dwell on the past. We are moving forward and we are talking about Salt Lake City. So I'm going to go over a couple of scenes. I had started taking notes in order by scene. And normally when I have a guest, I'll say, what do you think about Salt Lake City? What do you think about Sunday? And we go like that. Since it's just me, and I'm not going to upload this to the podcast feed, it'll just be for YouTube. I'm going to talk about the scenes that I did take notes on my phone and then just kind of talk about it overall because it has definitely been the topic of conversation. So again, I know you've heard this about 9,000 times by now, talked about by some other amazing content creators via YouTube, podcast, TikTok, IG stories, IG lives, what have you. But I figured, why not talk about it too? Shout out to my boo, Dan. Hey, Dan. Because Dan was like, I need your commentary. And we had started texting. And then Dan, I have fell asleep. So I'm going to go ahead and give my Salt Lake City commentary. So the most recent episode. Before I do the most recent episode, can I talk about something real quick? I have said before that my body reacts to things it sees, whether on screen, it just gets a feeling about things. Sometimes I'll share it with people so that when my feeling comes out to be true, I can be like, man, see, this is what I was talking about versus you just keep it to yourself. Then it happens. And then you tell somebody and they're like, girl, why you lying? Or you just saying that because it happened. Or they're not saying it out loud to you, but they're like doubting that you actually had that feeling. I'm just going to name a few that I had my body reacted to like, I know, ma'am. Jen Shaw, her very first scene, and she was talking about being married to a Black man and her sons, great, beautiful, all that. Something in my spirit didn't sit right with her. And she was like, oh, they think I'm Black in Utah. I was sitting, we hadn't, and I think I've said this before, we hadn't moved into this house yet because when the Salt Lake City came out like 4 years ago, sitting on my couch at my other house, I can remember exactly. And I might have been eating ice cream. And I looked over at my husband who's on the other couch and I was like, no, no, she's a no for me. Let people try to talk me into, oh, she's charming, she's this, she's that. She just always was a no for me. I remember I even had someone was like, no, you should interview her. She's really nice. Da 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 da. Back when she said all that stuff about like filming with that cast with like a knee on her neck. And then I let them talk me into it. And I was like, all right, well, if I talk to her, I need like, I ain't trying to ambush nobody because they were trying to sell it to me like, oh, she wants to come on, but I'm not sure she wants to talk about it. And I'm like, well, not, I wouldn't have her on for any other reason. Like, I never want someone to come on this podcast and feel ambushed. That's not cool to me. So if I want to discuss something that they may feel kind of like, I'll ask them when I reach out, through email or however I reach out. But the person that was setting it up, it felt kind of sketch. And I was like, let me just DM her myself. So I was just like, hi, uh, I heard that you want to come on the podcast. Something, I don't remember, it was so many years ago, but basically, I just want to let you know, no ambush. I want to talk about X, Y, and Z. And then I remember still not feeling right in my stomach. Like, no, I just don't feel right. And so I like deleted it. Who knows whether her or her assistant or whoever saw at the time. But so I say that to say I just always felt like a no, but let people try to talk me into something about her. Jenny from Salt Lake City, instantly, when I saw her interact with Barry, I was like, nope. And I had my thoughts and feelings, didn't say them to the public, kind of kept it kitchen table. And then sure enough, what happened? There's been other housewives that when I feel a feeling about it, and then I'll let people be like, oh, I'll hear people out, of course, when they say, well, there's this about them, there's that. But now I'm like, I hear you out, but I still got my good 2 eyes and still don't really mess with them like that. There's been other housewives too. Danielle from Jersey. I still have the text to myself. I text myself a note when she first came on the season, and I said, "Is she kind of like feel a type of way about us?" And I just felt, and then sure enough, saw one of her tweets from BLM about BLM and Philando Castile. And not saying that she is, I just had a feeling about like, you know how you feel like something seems off when it comes to a certain thing? That's how I felt. That's all I'm saying. So I'm saying all this to say I'm sticking by my feelings that I feel about these things. I may still like with Sutton. I have my feelings about Sutton. Y'all know I have tried, but I can acknowledge when she's good for the show, when she's bringing something to the scene, which I can acknowledge that. Okay. But I can't simply just be like, oh, I used to struggle with her, but now I'm good. Not. But I also realize that she does bring add value to the show. Again, I say all that to say that I had said a couple weeks ago that that I had allowed myself to hold a teeny tiny teensy bit of space for Whitney Rose. Anybody who's listened to the podcast know I just don't see it for her. Never have. Especially when she asked her cast to help her take Mary down. Her words, I need your help taking her down. Calling her a predator, the stuff she did with Meredith, questioning her about, where was she really when I believe it was her father had passed, all of that. I just never really saw it for Whitney. And then especially even when they did the ultimate girls trip and she was like to Heather, like, we got a job to do and let me know right there. You doing everything. You will do things and bring a situation up that you probably really don't even care about just to make it drama to keep your job. I'm not interested in that. And I know that they have to introduce drama, but hers to me, it was just like, I'm literally watching you plan it out and do it. Like, I don't know. She just never was one of my favorites. Gorgeous. Hands down, gorgeous. Not one of my favorites. Anyway, I said I would hold space for her. Excuse me, see? Call some heartburn to come up. Just saying that. And I said it. And then the week before last week's episode, and she's talking about Heather weaponizing her vagina. I said, see, I can't. Irks my, like, just like chills. Like, not in a good way. Just like, ugh, like when you bite in ice cream. So I don't see it for Whitney. Not that I don't like her, because I'll just say, because I don't know these housewives, I don't see it for her. She doesn't resonate with my spirit, right? I just had to get that out of my chest because I put out in the ethos that I was going to hold a little bit of space for her. I said that about her and Lisa Barlow. Strangely enough, Lisa works my nerves. I never really seen it for her either, but I can still hold space for her. I feel like she's an empath. Like, is she really? Because we've seen her on 2 occasions, someone start crying and she almost starts crying. And I wonder if that's why sometimes it feels like there's so much going on in her body. And I wonder if she picks up on the emotions of the people around her. And that kind of causes her to be like all over. I don't know. I can still hold for space for Lisa. Whitney, I can hold space for her beauty. That's it. All right. So the episode that we just saw starts out with, I believe, we see Meredith come downstairs for breakfast. They ask her, did she have a good night's sleep? She says, not too bad, but not so good. And the wine the night before didn't help. Then we see Monica in bed with Whitney with a face full of makeup on, that same makeup that she has on later. That wasn't from the night before. That much is clear. And Monica with Whitney, this is the thing that irritates me. So she says she went to Heather to make it right. The argument that they got into when they got back, she went down to the beach to make it right with Heather, and Heather didn't want to. So she went away to go hold space for her friend who passed away, which I'm really sorry that she's dealing with that. I just cannot even, imagine. This was like one of her closest friends. So my condolences for sure, on that to her friend's family and to Whitney, if by chance you ever see this. So, but what I don't like is I get the feeling it's like, I'm going to make it an issue and it's going to turn into, so she said she tried to make it right with Heather. Heather wasn't ready to talk. So she went to go hold space for herself to grieve for her friend. And Monica was like, oh, you know, when I asked where's Whitney, Lisa said probably somewhere being dramatic. And I feel like in that moment, Whitney's mind is like, oh, so I can make this a thing. I was grieving, so it's now going to become Lisa said I was being dramatic because I was grieving, when that's not the case. Lisa didn't know you took a moment to hold space, you know, to grieve for your friend. She felt like you were being dramatic because she probably felt like, because continuing the dramatics from earlier about Heather weaponizing your vagina, right, in her book. So that's the stuff that irritates me. Now you're going to conflate the two issues. Now you're going to make it an issue. So now it can be a thing when that's not what it is at all. Those are two totally separate issues. And that's what annoys me about her. So we see that. Then Whitney goes into Heather's room, right? Apologizes. Oh, no, well, just, you know, does apologize. What got me was Heather said, I read every single word to you. Then when Whitney said what she wanted taken out, Heather took it out. And so then Whitney tries to like play a game, basically. Well, I didn't read the revised. If I've read this sentence to y'all, Taria likes chocolate cake by the moonlight with no clothes on. And then, or not, let me not use myself. If I read the sentence to Angie K, Angie likes chocolate cake by the moonlight with no clothes on. And she says, I don't like the no clothes part. And I say, okay, I'll take it out. So now it just says Angie K likes chocolate cake by the moonlight. But I don't read that to you again. I don't think you get to say, well, you didn't read me the revised version. I read you what I had. The specific words you didn't like, I took out. So I don't know. I just felt like she was trying to make that a thing. Like Heather says, I read you your part about you. I took out what you didn't want me to write. And Whitney's thing is, well, I didn't read the revision. But and then at first she was like, but I didn't read it. And Heather's like, but I read it to you. So it just annoyed me. And I kept thinking back to Ultimate Girls Trip and her saying, well, we got a job to do, honey. Like, it was just so annoying. So then they all get dressed and they all go ride mopeds. Meredith is funny in her blazer. Can I just say something about Meredith? I've been rocking with Meredith from the beginning, and especially when she's the only one that stood by Mary in the season with Jenny. And I believe it's because Mary may or may not have confided in Meredith. Jenny's treating me a certain way because of X, Y, and Z. And Meredith chose to believe her and not question her or not white-splain why it wasn't that way. She stood by her. And I remember on podcasts and on Instagram, people all of a sudden turned on Meredith because Meredith had Mary's back. That's why, mind you, those some people then were championing for Mary to come back. But anyway, and real quick with Mary, I enjoy Mary. Mary kind of did work my nerves a little bit sometimes when she didn't want to participate in anything. And I got why, because she didn't trust these people, but she should have had that conversation. But I still do enjoy Mary. I just want her to communicate more and participate just a little more. But then again, she doesn't have to because she's a friend up. So I don't know. I did appreciate some things that Mary did bring, like her conversations with Monica and, and conversations with Meredith. And, Meredith, things do bother you, like, be honest. So I did appreciate those aspects of Mary. And I hope she comes back next season. And she seems, from the clip that we saw for the reunion, she seems kind of like light when she was doing Whitney's voice. So Whitney did say when she was on Watch What Happens Live, I believe that her and Mary are in a better place. So about Mary, but they all go ride mopeds, and my girl Meredith in her blazer. I started thinking back. Have we ever seen any scenes in the show where Meredith was driving? Did she legit just stop driving? My grandmom used to, she passed in 2017. That was my heart, but she used to drive and then she stopped driving, like either when I was little or before I was born. She used to drive and then she just got used to people driving her, and she didn't drive at all from the time, like she would renew her license every 4 years. It was every 4 years in Jersey. And she kept that license, but she didn't drive. So I'm like, Meredith, we haven't seen you driving. But anyway, they ride the mopeds, have a good time. They get back to the house. Heather gets a phone call. Child, the way those producers were running, like they were outside of Heather's door, and then that camera that was laying on the ground, and they picked it up. And we hear Heather saying, "Oh my gosh, are you serious? No effing way, blah, blah, blah." Producers try to get in her room. She tells them no, shuts the door. Then we flash forward to, it says 4 hours later. The editing, as anyone that I've heard talk about this, I agree with them. Editing was on point. It was cinematography at its finest. The ladies are getting glam for dinner. And it's just funny to watch now, like knowing what happens and then going back and rewatching it, like watching Monica enjoying herself and, they're all getting glammed, what have you. And then what's to come. It's always interesting once something happens to go back and think about, well, I wonder what they were thinking in these moments before this bomb dropped. Do y'all really think it was a bomb though on them? Who knows? Anyway, ladies are getting glam. So now I have notes, but I'm just kind of like going off the top now, because I did rewatch it yesterday. Now they're all walking down to dinner. They're talking about, oh, Heather, it's so beautiful. And they're going to play this game with these dolls that Heather brought. And they're asking each other, whoever's doll is in your bowl, you can ask them and uncover a mystery about them, right? So Meredith's mystery is, Heather, why didn't you stick up for me? And isn't it interesting how allegiances and alliances and things shift? Go back to season 1 when Heather didn't really necessarily I don't believe she had from what I remember, she didn't necessarily have a problem with Meredith. She had a problem with Lisa and by proxy Meredith, because Lisa and Meredith were like, people couldn't tell them apart. Can you believe that? So now it's funny, flash forward, here we are 4 seasons later, and she's asking Heather, why didn't you stick up for me? And Heather's like, none of us did. We didn't know. We believed Monica over you. And she talked about Meredith's reaction. And Meredith was like, just because I'm calm basically doesn't mean I'm telling the truth, which I think is true. And it's funny because if Meredith had flown off the handle and started screaming, it could be like a hit dog will holler, you must be guilty. But because she remains calm, oh, she's lying because she's remaining calm. So who knows? So then Heather I'm sorry, but Whitney started off the game by asking Lisa, I have, when Monica told me earlier that when I went down to hold space, you said I was dramatic. And Lisa's like, or yes. And she goes, but that's not my mystery. My mystery is, why is it okay for you? Like, it's cool when you do it, but not when I do it. And Lisa's basically like, I said you were dramatic. And that's what I mean about Whitney making it a thing. Lisa didn't say, she's down there being dramatic and I'm sick of the dramatics. I'm tired of people being dramatic, and then proceed to be dramatic herself. She literally just said she's being dramatic. So when Whitney tried to make it a problem, it wasn't a problem. It was just a throwaway comment. Where's Whitney? Oh, child down there being dramatic. That doesn't mean it's a problem that you're dramatic. She just said she's being dramatic because that's how she felt. Whitney is trying to make it seem like it's okay for you to be dramatic and go off on Meredith. But now when I try, you can't just say I was emotional. This is not a thing. This is not a thing. She simply observed you and felt that you were being dramatic, and that's it. That's all. So, so Lisa's like, you can be dramatic. I can be dramatic. Like, it's not a thing at all. And that's why Whitney gets on my nerves, because everything it's like, is this real life? Like, is this how you are in real life, or is this for show? For the show, to bring dramatics, because everything is something with her. Girl, take a breath and a break. Can we just get next season of her riding around in a golf cart with Bobby? Like, I don't need like all this. Everything doesn't have to be a thing. Moving on. So then we get Meredith and Heather. And then we get Heather saying, I really don't have any questions for Meredith. I have a question for Monica. Who is Monica Garcia? Monica was wrapped up. And then we flash back to the Avengers, as everybody says on the internet, amazing, assembling on the beach. And Heather telling them Monica is reality Von Teese. The ladies' reactions were like, you could tell, like they didn't know. Whitney may have known, but Lisa, I don't believe, and Meredith knew. When I say Lisa is an empath, she was like, she immediately sensed that something was wrong with Heather. And she was like, what's wrong? And she's like, Heather, you're crying. And you could see, I don't even think it was Lisa. Lisa can have a tendency to make things about her, right? Like there's a conversation on the table. She takes it off the table, puts it in her purse, then pulls it out of her purse and puts it back on the table like she presented it. She does have a tendency to do that. However, I truly felt like in that moment, she felt Heather like was getting ready to cry and just like she did with Monica when Monica went in that bathroom, we could hear Lisa getting ready to cry. So that's why I say, is she an empath and doesn't know quite? I don't know. Jamie Stein, if you're watching or listening, matter of fact, I'm gonna text you and ask you, do you think Lisa is an empath? Because it just seems like she picks up on others' emotions and not just picks up on them, feels them herself. So that just gave me kind of like another little opening for Lisa, just a little. Okay. So they're all talking. They're shocked. Meredith was so distraught when that wind blew up and we saw that tape in. That's what it looked like to me, a tape in, right? Like, but nevertheless, all the ladies, all the different posts that I have seen of this picture of the ladies being on the beach, y'all are hilarious. The internet is undefeated. But yeah, so they're upset. Heather is upset. A part of me felt like Heather was having a moment. Like she was getting ready to cry, but then she's saying, Monica is, and she's like trying to be all serious. And I'm like, inside, is she like, this is my moment. This is my whatever. I don't know. So, because I felt like it was a bit of genuine and disingenuous, if that makes sense. I don't know. I just felt like a lot was going on in that scene. So she says that Monica's reality Von Teese. And I know there was two. There was reality Von Teese, the first one that was like on Jen's neck. They had reposted some stuff that I think they reposted the video that I had put up on their first one, not on their second one. On their second one, they reposted it, but from a different account. Somebody else had posted it, but I had posted that video of Jen talking about a knee on her, filming with the ladies was like a knee on her neck. And I believe they reposted that. And then we had like a couple of DM interactions like, oh, wow, blah, blah, blah. And they had sent some other stuff. Some other stuff they sent before they released, and I never put it out there because I'm sure they did it to multiple accounts, I'm sure. Because there was a point when I can see that account and then putting out the stuff that Jen did, right? But then there was a point when it almost felt scary. Like, oh, this is something else. Like, this is something bigger than just exposing. At the end of the episode, Monica says exposing Jen for her horrible treatment of her people, blah, blah, blah. She didn't find that to be a big deal. It's not. However, I remember, especially that first one. That first one got taken down, and then they did reality Von Teese, and then two. It was something almost sinister to me about it. Because again, it wasn't just putting out the information, it felt sinister. And so I was just like, still follow them. I didn't block them, didn't do none of that. Because I know other people that were like, oh my God, this account, like, this is wild. I don't want nothing to do with this. So they blocked them. I didn't do any of that because I still watch, follow stories, interact a little bit. But then there was a point when it was like, oh, girl, like whoever, like, this is a lot, right? So Heather says that it's Monica. So then let's get back to the table, and they're dramatic. Y'all noticed when Heather was like, you are reality, you're an internet troll, you're reality Von Teese. And Monica sits up. Heather. And I was like, oh, girl. Like, when she did that, I almost got a little bit of a chill. Like, is she really about to? I don't know. somebody, and I apologize, I can't think of the username. I should have had it pulled up, but somebody I had tweeted that she should have done an Erica Jane and basically bared her teeth like Erica did at Sutton when she was like, or what? Or what? When when Heather told her to leave, I said she should have bared her teeth and been like, no, like, or what, I'm not leaving. She would have really had them gagged. And then somebody commented, and I said, now this would have been amazing. Oh, GODDAMN Bravo at uni YUNI _kitten. So at YUNI _kitten on Twitter said Monica should have just leaned into her villain role, stared back at the group, and start slow clapping. When I tell, if she had did that, I might have had to be like, you know what? That would have been wild. But the way she was like, Heather, and it was like, okay, she's buying time to think of something. People were like, oh, she owned it. She owned it. No, she didn't. Not right away. She said she wasn't. Then she was like, I want to see your proof. Oh, I want to see it. She lied more than once. Then she said it was kind of true. I'm gonna give it to Whitney. Whitney's face, that was funny when she was like, basic, that's not all the way true or all the way a lie or something. At least it's like, what does that mean? And then she's basically like, it's not all true, but some of it kind of is. Or I'm paraphrasing what she said. Whitney's face was like you could tell she was shocked in that moment. So Monica goes on to say that it wasn't her account. It was Tanisha's account, which is, we all know as not the Tanisha of Bad Girls Club. Shout out to, hey, Tanisha. I said, I know Tanisha's in real life, like in real life. And whenever I hear the name Tanisha, I still think of y'all ain't getting no sleep, Tanisha from Bad Girls Club. So, and I'm going to say this. I was under a post and saw a comment and somebody was like, and I'm going to go ahead and say it, it was not a Black account. Based on the avatar, unless they're using somebody else's avatar, it was a picture of a white woman. And I clicked on the profile because I wanted to see, because they said, when I found out her name, what her name was, I should have known. So I said, what does her name have to do with anything? And somebody else commented and said, I want to know too. We never got an answer. When you found out her name, girl, what's that supposed to mean? Anyway, so she said it was Tanisha's account, blah, blah, blah. And then she was like, the account was to take down Jen Shaw. All the ladies were just collateral damage. Now, y'all, I'm trying to think back. I can't remember the accounts going after the ladies, except for the two that they posted about Whitney being a swinger and picking up people in the bathroom, allegedly, or something like that. When she says the other ladies were collateral damage, was it the stuff like Jen calling Heather names like Shrek and all this other stuff? So I'm outing, so like I'm exposing Jen for her reckless mouth, but then Heather gets hurt because Jen's talking about Heather. You know what I mean? So is that what Monica meant when she said collateral damage? Like if friend A is talking about friend B, I want to expose friend A for being a liar and two-faced. But if I do that, friend B is going to get hurt because A was talking about B. So I'm wondering if that's what Monica meant when she said that the other ladies were collateral damage. Because I'm really trying to think back when Heather was like, this account has tortured us for 4 years. I'm like, I don't remember a whole lot about the other accounts. I remember Jen posting about her castmates being racist and stuff. So I don't remember Reality Von Teese posting, but maybe it was from that first account and it was so long ago and and it was gone. So maybe, I don't know. I do remember Reality Von Teese posting when Jenny was coming on though. And they were like sending a warning to Lisa, like basically, Lisa, you should stay away from her. She likes her pal pals. And they posted pictures of her with her pal pals and alluded to some other stuff. And I was like, was that you, Monica? Because I remember that they posted about when Jenny was coming on. So I remember that. But so again, I'm just wondering if that's what Monica meant when she was like collateral damage. So then she's saying it's Tanisha's account. Basically, she hadn't posted anything on there. They tell her, oh, and then Monica, they were like, you lied. You were in Meredith's store. We see the flashback of Monica as a blonde in the store during the time that the clutch got stolen. Monica didn't steal the clutch, but I'm saying allegedly, but didn't we see the video of a male, I think, taking the clutch, or someone else other than Monica, rather, taking the clutch? I don't know, allegedly, but we just know Monica. I don't remember Monica taking the clutch. And then they show a flashback of Monica being in the store and with the blonde hair. But then they show another flashback of Monica telling Meredith, "Oh, this is cute. I've never been in here," which is interesting because I would think they knew you were an informant. So why wouldn't you say to Meredith, "Girl, funny story. I love your story. I was in here with Jen when I was working for her. My hair was just different." Why wouldn't she say that? It's not like they didn't know she was an informant. They knew. So why wouldn't she just say that? Then when Lisa was like, you used to ride by Jen Shah's house, and she was like, no, I didn't. Da, da, da. Girl, you're lying. Video was released of you. And then and I remember when that stuff was, when Reality Monteith posted that stuff, Jen Shah, like in the moving truck. She used to tag whoever used to tag so many of us, and like all of their posts almost, it felt like. So I remember that. So she denies it and then was like, well, yeah, it was Tanisha's account, but I only posted about Jen. I didn't post about y'all. Which to me, if it was ran by people who used to work for Jen that Jen abused or didn't pay, allegedly, why then would they then be posting stuff about the other women? It would just still be Jen focused, right? The only way the other woman would be posted is, again, if it was collateral damage. If in fact, like the one post about Whitney and allegedly being a swinger, I don't remember the stuff like that being posted, but if so, and if Monica was posting like that, I can see why the ladies would be upset. I'm gonna be honest, I can see why they would be a little freaked out with her, because you're posting about Jen. We know that Jen did some horrible things. And I was gonna say allegedly, but was convicted of them. And I wonder if the ladies feel like, because we all know that these housewives, even when they argue, get into it, whatever, sometimes I think conversations are had like, hey, we're going to lean in this direction. I feel like that. But then they all make up and they're all good and they all share secrets. And I'm wondering if they think now we can't share any secrets that are not filmed, just us. We can't have any conversations around her because it'll be leaked. To me, it wouldn't be enough for me to take her word for it that she wouldn't do that, because I don't know you and I see what you are capable of doing. You sought out Jen Shah because you wanted to get on the show. Then she says that Jen was saying, hey, if you want to make money, you can do this, 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 and this. She told it to her friend who happened to work for the FBI, and her friend said, hey, she's being investigated. Even if you didn't know that Jen Shah was allegedly doing criminal activity before you sought her out to use her to get on the show. So I can see why they would be a little bit weary of your, how you say that, W-A-R-Y, worry of your motives. So now we know that you plotted to get close to Jen to get on the show. So what else would you plot to do to stay on the show? You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I see both sides. I get Monica exposing Jen. I also get them being like, girl, this is a lot. This is a lot. Almost, but not quite, like when Monique had her brother running her account and posted that meme about Robin being broke, but then was like, I didn't do it. Girl, it was your brother. But anyway, and then let's say that, would you rather have a housewife that was either having somebody run a troll account, paying somebody to troll for them, or like the Real Housewives of Potomac, where they just grab headlines from social media and bring that to the show, bring rumors to the show from social media. But here you have a housewife that's like, yeah, I was running the account, so I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. I can just see why they look at her like, I don't know if I'll trust you like that. So Heather tells her to pack her bags and leave. Monica gets up, barefoot and all, walks across the grass and leaves, sits in the confessional and says, Reality Von Teese was run by more than one human. And then on social media is doing pictures with a blinged out newspaper, Reality Von Teese, Gossip Girl. So my thing is, what I feel like is you want to be looked at as iconic and like I did the thing because you literally took pictures. They look professional, whether it's from an iPhone or not. You didn't just snap it yourself like selfie. You had a blinged out newspaper and then Reality Von Teese, and then you holding a Gossip Girl sign. So you took these pictures to troll, but then you want to be like, it wasn't all me. It wasn't all me. So either you ran it or you didn't. Like the pictures would indicate that you ran it. Because if it was a whole bunch of, if it was multiple humans, I don't know that I would have taken a picture proclaiming myself Reality Von Teese and Gossip Girl. Right. So to me, I look at her, like I looked at those pictures like, okay, you do that, own it, stand on business. Ain't that what T.I.'s son said? King, was it King? Stand on business. But don't do that. You taking the pictures like, yeah, I did that. I'm Gossip Girl. I'm Reality Von Teese. But then you're in comments and posting stuff saying, it wasn't just me, it was other people. I don't think you get to do both. Stand on it. Even if, to me, at this point, even if there was other people involved, you putting yourself out here as the face of Reality Von Teese with these pictures. Stand on it. Don't take a drink for every time I said Reality Von Teese, because you might. Or maybe take one as long as you're home. Safe. But I just don't think, Monica, you get to do both. So now we have Tanisha out here also with her recordings and her stuff she got on. Monica, she did an interview. Oh, and I feel so bad. I forget. Let me look up the name of the channel. She's friends with someone on YouTube and did Josiah's World. She's friends with Josiah and did an interview after last week with Josiah's World. She didn't really say too much. It was more so like Monica was the main person on the account. Yes, you see her in the group chats and all that stuff. But there was a point where she felt like, I guess Monica was obsessed with Jen and was like, too much. I'm like, this is a lot. And that was released. Those messages were released where she was basically like, I'm out. So she did say that she had more receipts and stuff, but she's waiting until after the reunion and after Monica with her burn book to basically like, I'm going to see what she says. And if she's trying to throw me under the bus, then I'm going to release more receipts proving that she was doing all these things. So I guess we'll see after the after the reunion, whether or not Tanisha's going to release more. So I don't know. Tanisha was keeping voice notes and Monica was online, like showing screenshots of her keeping the voice notes. I'll say this, voice notes are kind of like weird to me because there were times when if I didn't listen right away, it would go away after a couple minutes. So if you didn't save it, so imagine you can't listen to it right away. Like, and that's even with your husband, like for me, with my husband, family, friends, whoever. Sometimes I think I missed some of them because I didn't say, like a couple times I remembered, oh, save this because I can't listen now, only because it happened to me before where I didn't listen right away and it disappeared. But now I don't make a habit of saving them. I try to listen to it right away. And if not, and it's gone, I have to tell the person, hey, I didn't hear it because it's gone. So was Tanisha saving them because there were so many? Because the voice notes that were released with Monica back to back to back saying, hey, I should DM Mary. Hey, should I go buy the house for BTS, for Reality Vanties? Hey, I'm going to be a star. Hey, kidding, but not kidding. There were so many coming. Was she saving them to go back and listen later? And I'm not trying to be on Tanisha's side. I'm on nobody's side right now. I'm just saying, was she trying to save them? That could be a thing. Because again, I know before, voice notes would disappear after 2 minutes. So if you didn't save it and you didn't and weren't able to listen, the voice note was gone. So was she saving them, or was she saving them like, let me keep these just in case this chick try to blame me down the road? We don't know, because she could have been doing that too. So we shall see. I normally am not looking forward to reunions. They normally make my stomach. I just don't like reunions, because I feel like somebody could say something and then at home, I'm like, that is not a fact. This is what happened. But they can't address all of it, or the reunion would be 36 hours long. So we know some has to get cut. So they always make my stomach kind of like hurt a little bit. I'm looking forward to this reunion. I'm ready to see what is going on. Do y'all think they move forward next season with Monica? I think if they do, if Monica comes back, I think that Whitney and Meredith would be on her side, and Mary, whether Mary comes back in a friend role or not. I think Meredith may hear her out and may proceed with caution. She would meet with her. And with Whitney, I think Whitney would try to gauge the audience temperature. And if the wave seems to be siding with Monica, I think that's the way that Whitney would roll. She's all about forgiveness and giving a chance. Give someone another chance, because she's evolving and growing. I don't want to hear that next season. I just want you to ride around in your golf cart with Bobby. That's it. Maybe do a couple cartwheels, have a couple drinks, wear some cute stuff. I don't need you working on nothing else internally, because I've had it about enough. So what do y'all think? Do y'all think there is a way Monica comes back? I wonder if production knew. Jen sent the cease and desist to Monica and a couple other people about Reality Vanties, and Tanisha's name wasn't on that. And maybe she didn't know that Tanisha allegedly was involved. But I could have swore I heard somewhere or saw that Jen sent, there was something to do with Jen and a copy maybe going to Bravo or the producers or something. I don't know. I just feel like, did the producers know? What do y'all think? Do y'all think the producers knew, but didn't know when it was going to be revealed, or if it was going to be revealed at the reunion? Or did the production company know, but they didn't let anyone else know? It was funny when Lisa got up and production, you could see them in the back trying to open them doors like, Angie K. Tap, tap, tap. When you pick up something, be prepared to throw it, or don't pick it up because you look foolish. Especially with Monica saying throw it. Because if you pick up something and they say throw it, what other choice do you have but to throw it? Or you're going to look foolish. Don't pick nothing else up. But I'm looking forward to the reunion and seeing all the ladies. This was really good. I was going to say I'm excited about the future of Salt Lake City. I kind of am, but I'm kind of also like, not even how do you top this? Because that's the thing. Are we getting to the place with Housewives where only scandal excites and not just what they're going through? Like, is it always going to have to be a scandal? Because listen, we didn't have somebody, the SWAT team. We didn't have somebody's husband steal from orphans, widows, and children. We've had a troll account become a housewife. I don't know if I could take much more. So let me know in the comments what y'all thought of the episode. Or do you think there is a season 5 with Monica? Do y'all want a season 5 with Monica? How did it make you feel initially when we found out that Monica was the blogger or Reality Vanties versus all the stuff that's coming? Okay, let me go back. Has your thought of Monica and her being reality Von Teese changed from when it was just first revealed with on the show and Monica saying we wanted to expose Jen because she did some awful things to now some of the things we're finding out on social media and we're hearing voice notes? Has it changed of what you thought about Monica? Did you start out like, yes, Monica, do it. I'm okay with you coming on and infiltrating, to then hearing the voice notes and you being like, girl, I don't know. Let me know y'all thoughts. Y'all thought video was going to be like 20 minutes. I really did. But thank you so much for listening. Again, looking forward to the reunion. And I will talk to y'all later. Bye, y'all.